Hi, I'm Tim and you're watching Mr. Tim Tech on YouTube. And here we are with another video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at security cameras and also NVRs. So in this video we're going to take a look specifically at the Reolink CX810 full colour night vision 4K security camera, and it's an IP camera as well. It's not wireless, but it's wired, so even better. So we'll take a look and unbox that shortly. However, we also have from Reolink again a NVR. So they kindly sent me this, and it's a RLN8-410 model. Hopefully you can see it on the label there. And this is a 2 terabyte NVR, and it supports up to 8 POE security cameras. So we'll be connecting the Reolink CX810 full colour night vision 4K camera to this NVR. So we'll do that in a second video, but in this video we're going to be doing the unboxing and taking a look at the specifications. So let's get to it now. So this is the Reolink RLN8-410 model, and it's a NVR which supports 8 security cameras, and it has PoE capabilities on those 8 ports. It has a 2 terabyte hard drive in it. It's non-upgradable. However, you can connect external storage via the ports. So what we'll do is take a look inside the box. That's fairly plain packaging. Nice handle on the top as well to carry the box. So as you can see, I've already broken the security seal, but just to have a look to see what was quickly inside the box, but I haven't actually tested it or anything yet. So we'll open the box and take a look inside. Okay, let's take everything out of the box. There's another small box inside the box, which has, I believe, yeah, the power supply. So it's got the power adapter and the power brick in it. So we'll just move this box out the way and take a closer look. So in this little box we have a European power cable, and we also have a UK power cable as well. We have the power brick, and we have a Ethernet cable, and I believe this might be probably Cat 5e, I would expect. And we also have a mouse, which is nicely included as well with the NVR. So it's always useful to have a mouse to control this box should you need to. So it's handy that they've supplied this little USB mouse. And it's an optical mouse, by the way. There's no wheel on the bottom, it is an optical one. It has also 2 buttons, so the left mouse button and the right mouse button, and also the scroll wheel in the centre. There's no other side buttons or anything on this, but it is just a basic mouse to control the NVR, so what do you expect? We have the power brick, quite a large power brick, and this is rated for the input from 100 to 240 volts, 50 or 60 hertz, and the maximum is 1.6 amp, and the output is 52 volts, and the output is 2.3 amps rated at 119.6 watts. So also in the box we have a little packet of documents. So we'll just have a look at the documents, see what there is. We have the statement of compliance and the operation instruction booklet, and it tells you what's inside the box and instructions on how to get it set up, connected up and working. And there is a QR code as well, and you can also set this up via the apps. So there is actually one for the Apple and one for Android. So we'll put those documents to one side, and we also have a supplied HDMI cable. So they've also supplied a HDMI cable with this as well, which is nice to see. So now looking at the NVR itself, we'll take a look. And as I said, it's a Reolink RLN8-410 model. And at the front we have the Reolink logo at the left hand side, and below that we have a USB 2 port, and there's an IR sensor there. Then we have a power status LED, and then next to that there's a hard disk drive activity LED. Moving across to the right, we have some controls. So there's a play pause button there, which is clickable, and there's a all camera button. So there's a little square next to it, so there's 4 squares and it says all, so it's to display all cameras, I presume, on the screen. Then we have a menu button and a selection button, and we also have the arrow navigation buttons up, down, left and right. On the top we have the label with the QR code and the serial number. At the left hand side there's a ventilation for a fan, which I believe. However, this model doesn't actually include a fan at the left hand side. There is actually an option to put a fan in there, so I presume it's for one of the other models. So looking at the right hand side, there's a grill, and this is actually just for ventilation, as is what looks like you would think there would be a fan in there. So it is actually passive cooled, so it's silent in operation. At the bottom we have 4 rubber feet, so it sits on a desk or shelf or table or whatever. And looking at the back, we have the DC input at the left hand side. Above this we have an on-off rocker switch, so it clicks on and off. Then we have a audio output. We have the second USB 2 port. Then we have the HDMI output, VGA output. Then next to this we have the LAN port, which is a 100 megabits self-adaptive Ethernet interface for LAN or WAN. So it's only a 100 megabit port. However, that should be enough for cameras anyway, so it's just supplying security cameras, this box. So it's quite sufficient at 100 megabits per second. Above the LAN port we have the eSATA port, so it can be connected to an external storage device. And then next to that, at the right hand side, we have 8 POE out camera ports. So they are Ethernet ports. So we have port 1 at the top, 2 bottom, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and the last one 8. So this supplies 8 POE cameras. Then at the far right hand side there is actually an earthing screw where you can connect a earth cable, which is not supplied with the device. So that's basically the Reolink RLN8-410 2TB NVR. Now the specs for this we'll just go through briefly. It can support 8 POE cameras, as I've said, and the cameras for the audio output can supply cameras with built-in mic. The HDMI output resolution is up to 3840 by 2160. The VGA output resolution is up to 1920 by 1080. The audio output is 1 channel and it's an RCA connector, which I've shown you on the back. The video format it supports is H.264 and H.265. The live view playback resolution can be up to a maximum of 7680 by 2160 for the maximum, and that goes all the way down to 720p resolution. For the synchronous playback, it can support up to 4 channels, so that's on the synchronous playback, so which means I believe you can watch 4 cameras with synchronous playback at the same time. There's one SATA interface inside the box itself, and that has connected to it one 2 terabyte hard drive, which is included with the device, so you don't have to supply your own hard drive, and that is non-upgradable. However, as I've said, there's an eSATA port with the eSATA interface, and that can be connected to external storage, so you could actually increase the storage that way, and the maximum storage it will take is up to 12 terabytes, and that's a maximum of 6 terabyte capacity for each hard drive. As I said, it's got 2 USB 2.0 ports, and the network port is an RJ45, either 10 or 100 megabits per second. The maximum POE power per port for the cameras is 25 watts, so it supports 25 watts per port, and it supports standards for the POE of IEEE 802.3 AF and AT. And for the operating system, it supports Windows, Mac OS, smartphone, iOS and Android, which is good to see. So that's basically the NVR, Reolink NVR RLN8-410 model. So we'll put this to one side and then we'll get home and take a look at the more important bit, which is the CX810 4K 8 megapixel Colour X night vision camera. So here we are with the Reolink CX810, and it's the Colour X 4K 8 megapixel POE IP camera with true full colour night vision, which makes this, I think, very special. Hopefully it does what the documentation provides, and what I'll do is put a link down in the bottom of the video description about this camera, and hopefully you can see what it actually does from the pictures that they've supplied with the colour night vision enabled, with just normal colour night vision enabled, low light colour night vision and black and white night vision, and you'll see the difference between the demonstration pictures. So hopefully it meets those expectations in true to life environments as well. So what we'll do is take a look inside the box, and we've got, it's a nice blue box, and at the top, I don't know whether this comes through on the camera or not, but there's sort of a reflective wording across the box, and it says, "Be prepared, be Reolink," which is quite catchy, I think. So as you can see, there's a security seal. I did actually break the security seal, however, just to have a look in the box, but I didn't actually test anything or really take it out of the box to go through it in detail. So we'll do that now with you. So inside the box, we have on the top a cardboard wallet with some documents in it. So again, we've got the compliance document, a booklet saying POE Security Solutions, so it shows you their other camera products. So that's what's in one of the booklets. We've also got a little nice operational instruction booklet, which is nice to actually see that they're providing these booklets that you can actually go through in a paper document rather than having to click QR codes, download documents or view them on websites. So this is very handy to have at the side of you when you're unboxing and setting up the apparatus. So when you're setting up the cameras and the NVR, it's nice to just have a little booklet at the side of you that you can refer to. So thanks to Reolink for providing proper booklets. We have the declaration of conformity. There's a little leaflet there saying warm tips. And what do we have? Waterproof lid installation guide. And we have some stickers as well. There's a Reolink 24-hour video surveillance sticker, and there's one for each language. So yeah, we have stickers. So we have a Reolink 24-hour video surveillance sticker, which you can put obviously on your door or window for your property, should you so wish. So there's the little wallet with the documentation inside. So we'll put that to the side. And we'll open the box. Inside the box we have the polystyrene packaging all the way around, and inside sits the camera. And we also have at the bottom some little bags with accessories in, and that's it for the box. So it's nicely packaged in a polystyrene casing inside the box to protect it. So we have the security camera inside a little recyclable bag. So it's got the recycle logo on it. And here we have the Reolink Colour X 4K 8 megapixel full colour night vision camera. This is a very nice piece of kit, I have to say. It's very solid metal. The casing is actually metal, as is the bracket is solid metal, and that is metal as well. So there's actually the tightening nut there, which is metal. So the whole of this housing is actually solid metal, which is nice to see. Really nice, well designed, neat. And at the back we have the cable. So we have a length of cable coming out of it, and on the cable we have screw cover, so they're protected waterproof covers on the caps here. And this one is for the power over Ethernet connection. So that's for Ethernet connection. So you would remove that, and then you probably put a plastic rubber grommet over that to protect it, which I'll show you in a moment. Then we have another cover, and this, instead of threaded, just pulls out, and that is to supply it with separate power should you so wish. So if you don't want to use POE, there is a separate power connection there. However, we'll just put the rubber cover back on that. So we don't need that because we've connected it to the NVR, which supplies POE to this camera. Then for the third little cover, this is screwable, so it's unscrewed, and that is actually a little reset button. So there's a reset button in there should you wish to reset it, which is nice to see. So those are the three connectors on the end of the cable. Now, to be honest, to hide these cables, I think you would probably need a box. So it's a good idea, I think, to mount this camera on a plastic box and then mount the plastic box onto the actual wall of your property, so that you can put these cables neatly inside the box, and it would also help protect it as well from weather. Although these are weatherproof connectors at the end, it would be nice to just put it in a plastic box, I think, and then route the cable in through into the plastic box and connect it all up there. Make much more sense, I think. And Reolink do actually do one of their mounting boxes, which you can actually buy separately, or you could actually use just a mounting box which you could buy from your local DIY store, and then have the cable trunking, so plastic cable trunking, routing down from the box where you would feed the Ethernet cable through into the back of the box and connect it to the Ethernet port on the connector here. So that would be the ideal thing, I think, so that you're protecting the cable with trunking as well. So we also have here a piece of foam. So it's moulded foam, and it's saying peel off this sticker and stick it onto the bracket. So that would go on the back of the bracket, so that would stick there, and then the foam would go onto the wall, so it would be squashed against the wall to protect that from getting water inside, and then squash the foam against the plastic mounting box, which will protect it again from water from getting in there, which is nice to see that they've included that so that it stops water getting in there. So we also have a little plastic bag with some wall plugs and screws for mounting it. And then we have a short Ethernet cable, which probably not much use, to be honest, because you'd need a lot longer cable, I think, for most camera environments for that, but it's ideal for testing anyway and getting it set up with your NVR and testing it before you actually mount it outside. Then we have another little plastic bag, and inside here we have a little waterproof rubber O-ring, as you can see, and we also have another little piece of foam, and then another cover as well. So that piece of foam would go inside that cap with the O-ring inside, and then this would go on to the Ethernet connector there. So you'd put the Ethernet cable, thread it through there, which would be protected from water by that foam insert, and then you would have the rubber ring seal which would go over the top of that, and that would seal that in place like so. So your Ethernet cable would come in there, and that would all protect it from water. So that's the accessories with the camera. So what we'll do is take a look at the camera in detail. So as I say, it's got Color X true full color night vision, and it's a 4K camera with 8 megapixels. The aperture on this lens is actually not the standard f2.0, but it is actually f1.0, which allows a lot more light to go through, which I think enhances the colour of the camera for what it can see. Not being a camera expert, but that's what I can see from the documentation. And moving on, we have 4K on this camera. It is 25 frames per second, so it's high frame rate, and it supports HDR technology with advanced H.265 video format. Also supports H.264 as well. So as I said, it supplies power over Ethernet, and that's the AT/AF standard. So you don't need to use a separate power supply for this, however you can do with the plug that I showed you. The cameras can be set up and accessed anytime, anywhere, and these cameras work with Google Assistant and also Alexa as well. So they support instant alerts, two-way audio, smart playback, schedule, so you can set schedules on these and you can get instant alerts as well. So you can adjust the motion sensitivity, making the camera smarter and getting yourselves out of false alerts. It supports two-way audio, IP67 weatherproof, smart detection, time-lapse, and there's also local storage, so you can actually have a SD card in there, and it supports up to 256 gigabytes of storage. So you can actually store the video footage on the camera. You don't have to use an NVR if you so wish. So you don't have to use the Reolink NVRs if you so wish. You can have it store local footage on the camera itself. And it's also got an adjustable warm light on it. So these four marks here, as you can see, are for the light. And so you get double warning, so you get the light come on as well as the camera activation as well, so the smart detection. The hardware inside this camera is an N7 MB01. The IP video input is POE, so it is adjustable, as you can see, by releasing that nut, so you can actually position it where you want. It's got an image sensor of 1/1.8 inch CMOS sensor. The resolution up to a maximum of 3840 by 2160, and that's for 8 megapixels at 25 frames per second. The lens is an f4.0 millimeter and f1.0 IR cut. The video compression is either H.265 or H.264. It doesn't have zoom with it. The field of view for horizontal is 93.2 degrees, vertical is 48.2 degrees, diagonal is 111.6 degrees. The colour night vision is with spotlights, that's 4 PCS 3W 3000K /400 lumens. Maximum illumination distance is 15 meters. For the frame rate, the mainstream is 25 frames per second, going down to 2 frames per second. The default is 25 frames per second. And for a substream, it supports 4 frames per second up to 15 frames per second. The default on that is 10 frames per second. There's two-way audio on this. So for the audio, the speaker is actually located there on the device, and that's with 2 screws in there, so I think that could actually be replaced should it need to be. There is a DC power port and it supports a maximum of 256GB micro SD card, as I've said, and the slot for that is there on the back of the device. And for the Ethernet, it supports 10 megabits per second or 100 megabits per second, and that's via the RJ45 connector there. It supports for the smart alarm, motion detection, person detection, vehicle detection, and also animal detection. The recording modes is motion triggered recording, which is set to default, scheduled recording, or 24/7 recording. Time lapse, it does actually support that, and for smart home compatibility, it can support Google Assistant. So I believe we could actually get this probably into Home Assistant, which I'll probably do in another video. So I do have Home Assistant videos coming up in due course, so keep an eye out for those as well. So yeah, this is all a aluminium housing, so it's solid metal, very nice design, I have to say, looks good. So that's about it for this video. So what we'll do in the second video is we'll get this camera connected up to the NVR, we'll get the software in the NVR set up, and I'll show you some recording of the video footage for night vision and also daytime as well. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, hope you liked it, and certainly keep a lookout for the next video in this Reolink series. So we'll continue on. Thanks for watching, look after yourself, bye for now.